Hello friends, so today we'll start with quality of service and service level agreement. Here we'll see monitoring and resource management and provisioning. So quality of services where the service performance measurement takes place. Where are the and which field in which field the QoS is applied. It's telephonic, computer networks, cloud services, user of network centric means computer network type of things. So network management. The quality of service basically deals with network service measurements like packet loss, bit rate, throughput, transmission delay, availability, and jitter. Usually, it was covered in computer network course. We all know these were actually some mathematical formula and some mathematical outputs were there, where based upon some math- numerical value, we can take decisions. Next, the service level agreement. Here the contract was being done with the service provider and consumer. So contract usually done by service provider with service consumer. So in this contract, what are the things were written? It it is basically for quality, what level of quality the service provider will provide to the consumer, the availability of the resources, responsibility followed by the service provider. Availability means the duration, for full duration it has to be available, and it does not leave that there will be no failure. And responsibilities could be of many type, that server management or responsibility for the employees, technical staff will come to the consumer for enabling the service. Then different level of SLAs that are possible are customer based SLA, where individual groups or some consumers work together, that is customer based SLA. Then service based SLA means preference will be given to the service and all such consumer which were using that service. And then multi-level SLA, so different type of consumers are involved in this for similar kind of services. And multi-level SLA is further divided into three parts. Corporate level SLA, where all the service level management that is said to be SLM were being managed and provided by the service provider, and this was written in the contract of SLA for the corporate level SLA. Then customer level SLA, where a particular individual consumer groups were there and they are dealing with and needing some service level management, the customer level SLA. Then service level SLA, where specific services are being targeted for meeting the SLM issues. Next, the service level agreement could also be based upon the web service level agreement. Means web services are the integral or backend part of the cloud. A specific service level agreement could be possible, a type of agreement which would be integral or the most internal part, and which helps service level agreement at the bottom end part or the backend part of the cloud service, that is service level agreement, where a particular web service are being monitored. So in cloud service there is multiple web service working together. In this case, the specific small services were being monitored and they should meet some agreements, means contract. Here agreement means some contract deal that were being done between provider and consumer. What type of contract and what contract contains in the SLA? So the contract contains like as that QoS parameters, quality of service parameter. There could be many type of parameter, like we have seen availability, quality, various type of monitoring parameters like throughput, like bit rate, transfer rate, and all these things type of parameter. Then the SLA negotiation means the how the provider and consumer will negotiate in future. This type of things were kept. Then monitoring, how the services are being monitored, that the crawling and scraping part. Then what will be the what happen and what type of detection would be done when a certain SLA was being violated. So all these things were written in the SLA contract, as well as they also write about the SLA enforcement, means how this SLA would be applied and should be used and consumed. So these type of arguments were written in the SLA contract. Next, like performance metrics. So performance metrics are like having service performance analysis where you ask for the turnaround time, what is the time to complete a certain task, then you ask for a mathematical numerical value for the total resolution time, means time to complete certain task, then mean time to recover, that if service goes out of the functioning, then what is the time taken for that service to recover or to be proper. Then uptime means how much network and power failure takes time to come again with the user. Then this is uptime. Next, like resource management and provisioning. So the public cloud services can be used in three different ways for doing cloud provisioning. Means how the cloud should be deployed and should work and should be orchestrated. So these are the resource management type of things, and basically most important thing was provisioning. So there are basically three type of provisioning. What are the three type of provisioning? Consumer self provisioning, advanced provisioning, and dynamic provisioning. So first type was like consumer having a contract with the service provider directly, and they actually pay according to the usage basis, and the amount they use, the service consumer will pay to the provider. Examples of such things are like provisioning done by Google and Microsoft domain for the emailing, forms, document that we see, Excel. Then advanced type of provisioning could be like a consumer having contract with the provider such for dedicated resources and services. Example of such are online event management, like event was being organized for certain number of user will come for a particular event for 2 hours, 3 hours, for 1 day or 2 day, 3 day. So there are various online internet based platforms which actually enables multiple user to come and interact in that event. This type of advanced platforms for provisioning, then the contract would be done for the resources and services provided by the provider. Then dynamic provisioning means the amount of allocation of resources will be done according to the usage of the consumer, and whenever a particular resource was not being used, then the deprovisioning of the resource will take place, means the provision resource will be removed and the deprovisioning will be done, and then the consumer have to pay according to the usage of those resources. So provisioning and orchestration means these are the two things which are required for resource management, and this basically deals with creation, modification, and deletion of resources. Means new resources were added, old resources were being modified, then the old resources were being deleted also. Then orchestration for the workflow management. So how the processing will take place and how the management want the process should take place, what are the sequence. So all these things are being orchestrated. Next, elasticity and resource provisioning. So in elasticity, provisioning and deprovisioning type of things takes place, where automatic provisioning means deployment of the server and how the server should be managed, the resources should be managed, virtual machine should be managed, then the resources should be revoked from that user consumer because they need to be deprovisioned. So this is the elasticity, and the two type of things are being avoided in the elasticity, which are over provisioning and under provisioning. In the over provisioning, allocation of more resources were there, means it is not required but still provider had assigned those resources, so the payment of such useless resources are unnecessary, and these type of elasticity should be avoided. Then under provisioning means a consumer want more number of resource and fewer number of resources are being allocated. This is also not good. So this is under provisioning. And poor performance would take place. Slow and unreachable things will happen. Then issue is like loss of customer means number of customer will be less next time. Thus the over provisioning and under provisioning would be avoided. Next, monitoring. So monitoring of REST and SOAP APIs were there. You need to monitor RESTful web services or SOAP based web services. So this type of API could be monitored with the tools like SOAP UI or JMeter. Then monitoring of microservices or API which are actually having internal application like web services or some particular virtual machine kernels are there. So these are being monitored for such purpose. And then the monitoring of internal APIs that actually serves customer, private network, local network, and data center, private cloud. So all these things were being monitored for the internal API. And these are the stakeholders basically. Then the monitoring API throughout the life cycle means there is a complete life cycle of a web service or cloud service or a cloud. So detection of some bugs and fixing those bugs and on the early stages are important. Then the continuous development process is also being supported. Then deployment of a particular virtual machine or service should be there. Then all the IT operations should be there for the management purpose. Next, SOAP UI monitoring. So this is the example of just how a SOAP UI monitor works, and this is the way actually monitoring takes place. The web service is being monitored where there is many number of calls happen to a web service and various result would be there according to the time. So you send the request, that is SOAP request, and you get the SOAP response for the as the output. So the SOAP request you monitor for the SOAP request that you have sent. Then toolbar is the first part of that, and monitor coverage tab, and these are the basically traffic logs for having control over the traffic that happens and the time taken for doing the request and response processing by the web service. Then filter bars like monitoring some service and traffic logs management, how the traffic takes place in that network. Then request tab means the SOAP request or some request goes for processing a web service. Then a response comes to the monitor, and that will be feeded as the output for the monitor. Then advantage of such monitoring were as follows, and these are the usefulness like prevent failure, and very soon you'll get the response that you need to remove and replace unavailable service with another equivalent service. This is one of the advantage by preventing failures. Then verifying the service invocation like pre and post condition, that what are the invocation conditions that happens before invocation and after the invocation conditions. These type of verification are important for monitoring purpose. Then trigger some recovery of the actions that are needed. The QoS and SLA that you need to follow are basically vary according to the time, and you need to do monitoring, continuous monitoring for the quality of service, and testing should be guaranteed for the SLA. So the testing you need to do for managing the SLA, monitoring you need to do for QoS, and different stakeholders are required to be tested for different services and service centric systems such that the SLA should meet with some certain guarantee, and that has some ensured SLA and verified SLA. Then testing levels should be maintained. What are the testing levels? Like first you do functional testing, what are the functions of the service. Then non-functional testing you do for the services. Integration testing, new component are being integrated, then you have to do testing again. Regression testing means you have some changes in the service and then you have to test those changes again, then that is regression testing. these type of testing were being studied in detail in software engineering part. So these type of testing were similar to the testing that you have studied in software engineering course. Next, standards for web service interoperability. This is important part for monitoring and service level agreement and quality of service management. So what is this web service interoperability? So this is the link for actually industrial or for promoting interoperability across the platform, operating system and programming language, such that a standard way of a web service should take place for the operation, and different companies would have certain interoperability, means web service should be operable from different organizations, and there have to be well defined protocol for maintaining such interoperability, for having proper message communication between different web services, for exchanging some information with the help of messages. Then QoS and SLA maintenance is actually the part of service maintenance. Here there are various scopes, quality and responsibility of a particular provider towards its service consumer. So the scope, quality and responsibility are managed by service provider. Then QoS should be monitored and maintained, and this will be done by the service provider for their own web service, and that has to be done continuously without any delay. What type of analysis could be done, like change analysis could be done, that actually helps in doing regression testing for web services, and that helps to manage the quality of service, and which in turn and in the end helps to do service level agreement, fulfillment of all these requirements which are being maintained and written in the contract. Then what type of analysis that you can do? It's intra-operational analysis or inter-operational analysis. Intra-operational means within an operation you do analysis. Inter-operational analysis means within 2, 3, 4 operations are being communicating. Then you do change analysis that helps to do regression testing. And regression testing is the part where you can maintain the quality of service and SLAs. And this type of reduction in effort of regression testing will actually help you and deal with the less effort of monitoring. And thus such effort reduction in change management will help in effort reduction in regression testing, and that further helps in reduction in the effort of monitoring and maintaining quality of service. Thus, all these effort reduction will help you to save cost for the project and help you to guarantee the service level agreement. And this will help you to composite construction of the service that helps you to keep maintaining satisfactory QoS. So, for example, service provider is updated some service and enhanced its service. Then the new SLA or QoS should be required. Then this may cause for the old SLA violation. So this is incorrect, and this lead to some change or incorrect behavior according to the old SLA. So you may need to create new SLA, and you do for such thing you do QoS monitoring, means quality of service monitoring. You keep on checking and re-establishing some new specific SLA or QoS so that you have fulfilled all the requirement for the contract that you deal with. Then reduction in the cloud and web service maintenance effort actually helpful for reduction in the effort of guaranteeing the QoS. So you try to do cost management like effort reduction in maintenance. You that helps to do effort management and effort reduction in guaranteeing quality of service and service level agreement. And this all being done with the regression testing, and regression testing for maintaining the quality of service and SLA. And reduction in regression testing could be done with the help of reducing the size of test suits, regression test suit, and this actually saves effort in terms of time and human manpower, and thus it actually reduces the cost of the whole project. And re- regression testing cost reduction help you to reduce the monitoring cost, and thus help you to reduce the quality of service and SLA cost. So these are the references which are being followed for construction of these slides. in terms of publications that are being followed. And next, these are the links, website links from where the content of these slides were being taken, and please follow it. And thanks for this part of the series and this part of unit and chapter. So next time we'll start with the new chapter,